Allison, I think you do know the issue.
Do I need?
Because it's fundamentally it's the same issues that was discussed at the Adler's house. Nothing's changed. It's the exact same issue.
Yeah.
So you are aware of the issues.
I wasn't aware that there were 3 dissenters. In the meeting that I attended, there was. May I finish? And so I think that it's only fair, and this goes to the chair of public safety, if you knew that there were individuals in that meeting who had diverse opinions or just opinions different from, I don't know, perhaps it was the majority of the group that was in there, it seems to me we should have gone out of our way to make sure that those individuals were invited. The appearance of impropriety is there, and if there are only 3 individuals who think one way, and those 3 individuals are not invited to a particular meeting, it says something to me. Mm-hmm. I don't like what it says, and so I'm going to ask the trustees, the 3 trustees that sit on public works, if you would reconsider and have public safety, public safety, and reschedule that meeting.
I didn't realize that there were, until you just made the statement, that there were 3 dissenting people who were excluded. I was not aware of that.
I mean, 3 neighbors. We live right next door to each other. And the whole thing was, the statement was made that you people on the other side of the park don't feel the same way as us.
Well, so with that information, then I understand.
Again, just to be clear, we did not personally invite.
I didn't say you did.
Okay, I just want to be clear on that. And the other thing is that we were talking about having this meeting over the summer, and it didn't materialize because of people's schedules. We couldn't do it in September, and now we're talking October. If this gets canceled, we're talking about it in the fall, and at that point, obviously, a lot of these issues regarding the park don't pertain except in nice weather.
The park's not going to change in 2 weeks.
But I think to have the discussion now, and that way we could potentially implement some changes.
In a few months. But I think it's very important to make sure that you have a meeting, that people should be notified, and if it needs to be bigger than somebody's house, people should be notified that we can all participate. Or at least notified so that we can send a representative to participate.
Can I interject here just to have, I think that your points are well made and to have some closure on this. I'm going to support Trustee Jennings and Abrams, that we, for the sake of fairness, reschedule the meeting. But it's up to you, you're the chair.
I would like to certainly not going to get proper notifications to people who think there's going to be a meeting, and they're going to show up anyway.
Right. Yeah.
It's less than 24 hours away. I don't know how you're going to get to all of them.
I mean, you're going to have
them at the Village Hall, and they could be very upset.
As Trustee Roslin suggested, I'd be more than happy to have a follow-up meeting, but I think we have a meeting on the calendar. We were all notified in our package. It is on the village calendar. Every time we have a meeting, unfortunately, we can't notify all residents. I agree with you, and I said that was my first statement. You should have been notified, and I apologize for that. But we have this on the calendar. I would like to see it go forward.
You can hold your public safety meeting. It's this one issue. There are often times when we cancel various discussions because council isn't there or whatever the situation is. So I mean, really, the appearance of impropriety to say that there are 3 individuals who had an opposing view, but yet for some mysterious reason they're not notified and kept out of it. I think it says something to me, and I would behoove you to not hold that particular issue tomorrow.
That is the only issue. That is what this meeting is for.
You can let them know that there are individuals in the community that who have different opinions, or who just want to be here and who aren't notified, because it should be the community, not the chosen few.
All right. Just in the interest of moving forward, I'd like to suggest that we reschedule this meeting for a few weeks from now. Then we make a concerted effort in the next 12 hours to notify residents who we know about and always show up.
It won't happen until November. My schedule's booked the entire month.
No, then we'll do it.
We'll do it in November.
November is 18 days away, whatever it is. So I think we should do that.
I disagree with that. I think we should continue on with the meeting for tomorrow. I think there was proper notice that was made. I think there may be even people who were not notified on the other side. I don't know what dissenting views he's talking about right now. I didn't hear dissenting views at that meeting that was at the Adler's. We made an enormous effort to get people out to to come to this meeting, and even extended even further than just Grove Park. It was to Tuxedo Park. It was to the Village Colonials. It was discussed at the Public Safety meeting.
And the Rec Advisory Board.
And it was extended out as far as we could possibly go.
Actually, the Adams House is not what I was talking about. The last meeting that took place, was not at the Adams House. And maybe you don't know that there was a meeting that took place up in the room right here. Maybe everyone doesn't know about that.
That's the Public Safety meeting.
Public Safety.
Public safety meeting, but that public safety meeting also took place, and that was the one where a lot of people talked about having a follow-up meeting during that public safety meeting.
Correct.
And
that's what
meeting
this
was
is.
a notification given out to everybody. Is that meeting where we were there and we spoke about the next meeting and everyone was supposed to be notified, and there was a sign-in list with names, addresses, telephone numbers.
And
that list should have generated the notification to the people.
the assumption, as I recall, Amy Don from the Montrose Park Historic Society and another representative from Montrose were notified. And my assumption, and again, if that was a false assumption, I apologize. My assumption was by notifying Montrose, they were communicating with the residents. We were not personally responsible for notifying all the residents.
Okay, we really can't spend any more time with you. We've met this agenda.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So let's resolve this once and for all. It's your call. You've heard your fellow board members weigh in. What do you want to do?
We have the meeting on the calendar. I would like to go forward, and I'd be more than willing to have a follow-up meeting where we could discuss their points of view, and I welcome them to join us tomorrow. It's an open public meeting. I encourage them to join us.
Okay.
And there's also village employees that are going to be participating as well who have made their calendars available.
Something that affects the entire village and particularly a large segment of town, and it's in Michael Trustee Goldberg's decision whether or not to hold that meeting tomorrow, where there was a list. I think the impropriety is glaring now. If there is a list that 3 men have signed, and those are the only 3 men who are off this list, and there are 3 dissenting opinions.
That's an assumption.
That is, I'm just going by what I
You
heard
were making an
this evening.
assumption. They make. I
Marion,
just
that's
don't
an
think
assumption.
leadership
When I
has
was
the
in
right
that,
to
may
make
I
an
finish
assumption. I'm
my
sorry.
statement?
Yes.
When I was in the meeting on that particular day, I made a statement because it sounded to me that the individuals that were speaking were saying some very interesting things. And now to have a man get up and say he was at the meeting, signed the list with his address, and mysteriously he, as well as 2 other individuals, are not invited to the
Terry, and as a
meeting.
prosecutor, if we looked at the list, I would imagine that there are a number of other people who are not included in getting notification, who were on that list, not only these 3 individuals.
Why collect the list if you're not going to use it? What are you saying to me?
We don't even have the list. I think some Montrose.
I think the Montrose Association had collected the list.
Is it?
And we notified the president of the Montrose Association about the meeting. For their listserv,
The Montrose Association collected a list for the for the public safety meeting. You had someone from the Montrose.
No, we talked about having a follow-up meeting. This was monopolizing the entire public safety meeting. It's an important issue, but we had a long agenda, so we said let's take this offline. People signed in, and Montrose Association agreed to be the point person to contact people in the future.
My concern, my only concern is, and I'm not screaming at anybody, but my concern is that you are the elected officials. You are the leaders of this community. And to sit up here and say, oh, I was relying on this person or I have to come and do my homework. I am the leader. I have to represent many voices out here. And to come up here and say it was my assumption that you were included is not good enough. It's not good enough.
That's ridiculous.
It is. Mike, I'm sorry. It's only not good enough because you're not willing to step back and say, perhaps we did not do it right, and so therefore to make sure that it is done correctly, this is what we're going to do. That's why it's not good enough. The message you're sending to me, and it's coming across as the whole board, and I want to be clear that it's not, is, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go do it anyway. And is it too hard to be here to meet the other people and tell them, I'm sorry, we have to reschedule because we did not include everyone who lives around Grove Park, and in order to have the right meeting where we look at all the issues around the park, it's important to include the entire circumference and people who are interested in that? Is that not important?
Sure, they should all be informed, and I apologize that they were not.
Apology or not, this is the action. Now, what is the action? I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it my way anyway.
And you know what?
They're welcome to come. It's a public meeting.
Everyone,
And it was on the village calendar, and for you,
please.
But this isn't my issue, this is a public issue, so don't make me the point.
We're gonna end this, because there's a lot of ground to cover this evening. Everyone here has had a chance to speak, and the plan right now is that this meeting is gonna proceed. I would urge the residents who are concerned that they're not actually represented, who could make the time in your schedule, or if not, reach out to neighbors who usually share your views, and urge them to come to the meeting tomorrow night, and we will make absolutely certain that we reach broadly for a follow-up meeting in roughly 2 weeks, as soon as practical possible. We're not going to take any more comments on this at this point, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.